Hey everybody, what's happening? I'm Craig, this is Foxy, and thanks for dropping by. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about my story, or I should say our story, mine and Foxy, and a little bit about her, but we're also going to talk about one of the organizations, which I have three, that is near and dear to my heart. They are nonprofits, and they're the type of organization that does so much work to help veterans, and I think it's really important. And we're going to talk about an upcoming charity event that they have going on that is absolutely phenomenal. So, with that being said, let's do it. All right, so this is probably the hardest part of any video for myself. First of all, I want to apologize. I haven't gotten any videos out in almost 2, 3 weeks. And that was because I was dealing with a major concussion from one of the falls I've had. As some of you know, I have problems with falls, and I actually have, yes, I've fallen and can't get up. I actually wear one of those because of my issues with falling and vertigo and some of the other things. But what I wanted to talk about is, first of all, Foxy and I have been together for about 3 years. Foxy is actually a medical service dog, and I'm going to talk about what she does for me in a minute. But before I do that, I kind of want to go back and talk about how events evolved so that I ended up with Foxy, an incredible medical service dog. So, um, I'm a veteran of the Marine Corps. I spent 21 years in the Marine Corps. I'm a combat veteran. Um, I dealt with some issues because of the Camp Lejeune water poisoning, which some of you may or may not know about. I also dealt with issues with exposures to sarin gas during the Gulf War. And this has caused multiple medical situations for myself. I deal with tremors. I deal with, I've had 14 surgeries on my throat because of a nodule that grew and was forcing food to go down my windpipe instead of where it's supposed to go. It would push it up and down. Um, I've gotten into issues with memory loss, or the other thing I get is like a brain fog where you feel like you're there, but you feel like you're in a dream. My memory loss has been so bad that I didn't recognize family and friends. And there was even instances where I turned around and I was going to meet the best man at my wedding, and turned around, he sat down, and I didn't recognize him. I didn't know who he was, had no idea. Um, but I want to keep the story short because I'm going to be talking about an organization, a nonprofit, that is one of the three that I support in every way I can, and I made it my life's mission to support them. And this organization, and they have a huge event coming up, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before I get into that area, I want to talk about the fact that as these things were happening to me, I started dealing with balance issues. I was in and out of the hospital. It seemed like I was in every other week. I was seeing psychiatrists, psychologists. I was dealing with PTSD. I was dealing with sugar issues. There was just so much going on, and I started to regress into a deep, dark place. I got to the point where um, I didn't want to be around anybody. I felt like if I was out with my wife or whatever the case with, I wouldn't be able to handle any situations that came upon us. Instead of trying to fight it, I went the opposite direction. Now, that could be because of my neurological situation, the brain fog, or whatever the case may be. I was never like that before. And I actually moved down into my basement, and I pretty much regressed and didn't go anywhere. It got to the point that I felt like I was a hindrance for my wife at the time and for my family. And I felt like it was time that um, that I didn't want to be around anymore. Um, I didn't want to live because I felt like, well, if I left, then my wife would have no problems moving on. She'd be able to find somebody else who could take care of her, and those types of things. And it was really a deep, dark depression. And I made a decision that I was going to go ahead and end it. And I had the plan all worked out to make it look like an accident and everything else. And I think the medical professional I was seeing, the psychiatrist I was seeing, kind of understood that I was in a deep, dark place and recommended that I get a pet. And he sent me out to a place called Pets for Vets, which is a part of Animal Friends, which is a rescue organization. But what they do is they give out pets for veterans, just to be as buddies, partners, friends, and somebody that may help you when you're feeling down and you feel like you can't talk to anybody else. You can just sit there and talk to your animal. After talking to Eric, who was, and this is a different Eric than the story we're going to be talking about a little bit later on, he said, Craig, this is not what you need. He says, you need to reach out to an organization called Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs. You really need a service dog. So, because of the fact that I was dealing with PTSD and all these other issues, I made a decision to make this my last effort. And I reached out to Guardian Angels, and at no cost to myself, I ended up being paired with Foxy. And I went through all the vetting process. They looked at my medical records. This is an accredited organization. It's an incredible organization, and they provide medical service dogs at no charge to veterans. Now, how do they get that money? They get it through fundraising, and the organizations that I support. And I'll say real quick is Team Foster, Life Changing Service Dogs for Veterans, and of course Guardian Angels. And after I went through the vetting process, I was paired with Foxy. And I'll tell you, this was the most incredible thing that happened to kind of get me out of that stage, and where I was going. Now, what people don't understand, I know friends, family, and other people, and I'm bringing this out now, don't understand that it isn't people that always you need for help, because it's hard to talk about. What you need is a way to always feel secure. So let me give you some examples. I deal with night terrors, and they come and go, and I'm not sure why I have them, because my combat, I'm a combat action veteran, was not as bad as a lot of others, the ones that dealt with the latest couple of wars of Afghanistan and Iraq. However, I still had night terrors, and I'd wake up in a sweat, and I'd be hearing bombs in my dreams, and I'd be smelling smoke and fire and all the other things. Now, maybe this is neurological, that just gave it to me, but I was having these issues. And what she does is the minute I start to have these dreams, she's up on the bed, she's licking my face, and she's waking me up. She knows what's going on. And immediately I wake up and it's like, oh my God, okay, I'm good. She's got my back. She's got my six, as they say in the military, your back, which is 6 o'clock, which for some of you who don't know, you look at a round clock and six. Anyway, so she gets me up and I feel more comfortable trying to go back asleep. Now, friend and family aren't going to notice these night terrors all the time, and they don't wake you up or don't do things for you. So this is why that makes it so special. The other thing, because I didn't recognize people, I was dealing with balance issues. I didn't feel like I could take care of anybody when I was out and about. With her, though, she goes everywhere with me. In accordance with ADA compliance, American Disabilities Act, this medical service dog goes everywhere I go. She doesn't leave my side. If I'm going out, she's right there. If I'm in the hospital, I've been in the hospital multiple times with her, and she sleeps in my bed in the hospital. She goes everywhere I do. She goes to pre-op before I go into surgery. Somebody holds her. They have her there at post-op. When I go in to get CT scans or MRIs, the tech takes it to the back to the control room. I go through my CT scan, and then they bring her back out to me. I mean, these are what these dogs are trained to do. They're medical devices. She picks up on sugar issues. She got me out of a fire, which we have a video, which I have linked below so you can see what that's all about. So I'll have that. Actually, I'll leave that in the end of the video and have that one of the videos if you want to watch, and the story about how Foxy rescued me from a fire, basically. Um, and she's just always there and a constant reminder. When I have balance issues, when I've been on walks, I've fallen, and she uses a technique called brace. And when she braces, I'm allowed to push to get up. And then she stays tight to me and acts like a third leg and actually helps me get back. She actually, in one case, I couldn't see because there's an issue you have with vertigo where your eyes start going like this and up and down and those types of things. And she turned around, was able to get me back to, or us back to the apartment with me putting pressure on the leash, her leading me back real slow. And this was at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's one of the reasons why I wear this now, is because of the fact that when I go out and walks and stuff, if this happens, they're able to turn around and find where I'm at and get help to me right away, because of these issues. So anyway, there's other things, and I don't want to over go about it, because the one thing I'll make a point is I am 100% better. Well, not 100%, but I'm definitely a lot better. And there's so many veterans out there that need service dogs. And when you look at what these service dogs do for for disabilities, whether they be invisible or visible, we're talking things like traumatic brain injury, we're talking PTSD, we're talking mobility issues, we're talking sugar issues, heart issues. She picks up on heart issues and had alerted to my neurosurgeon, which is another story I'll give in a future video. But that's what these dogs do. The training, what are we talking about? We're talking anywhere from $25,000 to $29,000 to train them. So where does that money come from? Doesn't come from the government. No, it comes from organizations that get out there and volunteer, create all these different events to raise money for service dogs for veterans and to take care of veterans. So, like I said, 3 organizations I love to death, and my mission, my life's mission, is to work, help, promote, and do everything I can to help raise money for these service dogs. And that is Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs, and then Life Changing Service Dogs for Veterans, and Team Foster. And Team Foster is who I'm going to talk about today, and one of the events that I absolutely love and is near and dear to my heart. And I actually, the first year that I was there, I was not able to participate. However, I did this past year, and I was very proud of myself. With Foxy by my side, I actually participated. It wasn't easy, and I was involved in the event the entire time. So before I get into the event, let's talk a little bit about Team Foster. Team Foster is an organization that raises money that helps financially for veterans, veterinary care for their dogs, and other needs, especially finding dogs. They find dogs. The dog organizations that they support are multiple. They do support Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs. They support Husqvarna, I believe it is. Susquehanna. I'm so sorry for that, but they support them. They're another service dog, accredited service dog training organization within the Pittsburgh area, and other service dog organizations that train them. They were founded by Nick Learman. He is the founder and executive director. Now, this organization is is in honor of a veteran named Eric Foster. Eric Foster was killed in combat. Um, and this organization was founded by Nick Learman in honor of his closest friend, um, Eric Foster. And I'm going to have their website below and everything else, and you can go read more about it and the whole story about Team Foster and what they do. Just an incredible organization. So, with that, I want to talk about the big event that's coming up. Now, that'll be coming up on September 30th and October 1st. And this event is called the Ruff Ride. Now, the Ruff Ride is a 24-hour team spinning event. So what happens is you have all these people that are on these spin bikes, and I'm talking all ages. I mean, we had Vietnam veterans last year. We had Jack Wagner. He was a Purple Heart recipient from Vietnam. He was riding. We had people my age. Not Jack, sorry, not that you're that much older than me. But anyway, we had a lot of different people riding, groups riding, just phenomenal. And what they do is, or what you do is, you go in and they set up these bikes and you have teams. And the teams ride the bikes with trying to get the most distance for a total time of 24 hours. So the 24-hour spin, like you may be on for 30 minutes, an hour, then somebody takes over, and then, your team works like that. So what you do is the teams that volunteer, they pay an entry fee, and all that money goes into supporting veterans and getting service dogs. They go out to one of the service dogs organizations. I mean, Team Foster has donated over $100,000 to Guardian Angels because of this event. Excuse me. So this event this year, like I said, is taking place September 30th and October 1st, and that is done at the Petersen Events Center in Pittsburgh. And I have the links below. I also have how teams can sign up and so much more details. But it was so much fun. I rode on Team Guardian Angels last year, and we had the dogs. What we did is all the participants that had dogs, us veterans that had dogs, what we did is we had the dog right next to the bike the whole time. Foxy was right there, had water right there, and they're sitting there watching everything. But what's different this year is we are in the Petersen Events Center. So we're going to be indoors. So we don't have to worry about weather. You don't have to worry about blazing hot sun. They have entertainments, people speak. And Nick puts on a challenge, and you get your best rider up there, and then you compete. And usually that's around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. the next morning. They have riders, experienced riders are up there, instructors, spin instructors, up there motivating you, getting you going. It is actually a fun time. Now, this year, I'm hoping, I don't know if I can. It depends how physically things are going with me. I am going to at least get on and ride, but I'm hoping what I can do is try to slide in and ride with each team, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. Last year, they had music entertainment. There was food there, all sorts of vendors there that are there with different things that are available. You'll have different support organizations. Guardian Angels will be there. Other dog training organizations will be there. I believe there was an organization, Dogs for the Blind, but I'm not sure if they were there last year or not. But this is a huge event, and I'll have all the information below, and I hope you take the time to go. Team Foster and Ruff Ride, phenomenal event, and I really appreciate what Nick Learman has done and how he's saving veterans' lives. And I bring this again. Look, 22 veterans per day take their own life. To my knowledge, and I know for sure with Guardian Angels, not one veteran has taken their own life that's had a medical service dog. Now, I know for sure with Guardian Angels, I don't know on the other ones, but that goes to show you just how important these dogs are to the veterans. And I hope that you'll get out to the event if you're in the Western Pennsylvania area. We had riders come down from Michigan. So one of the riders that came down, Sheldon, incredible individual, brought his dog down, and he rode with me on my team. So to come all the way from Michigan, we have people that came from Ohio, people came in from West Virginia. There's no reason why you can't make it. Now, I know this was a long video, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by. And again, I'll have all the links below. I'll have links to our website where if you're interested in just donating, you can donate through the foxyandcraig.com, as well as you can go directly to Team Foster. You can donate there. You can go to Guardian Angels, which is medicalservicedogs.org, or you could go to Life Changing Service Dogs, which is padogsforvets.org as well. And I'll have all those links below. I'll have all the information that's going on. Again, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. Foxy and I appreciate you. She's getting some sleep because she knows I'm okay, because usually she's up all night. So thanks again for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. You know, once we start monetization, we'll be able to send all that money to charity and Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs. You can see below Foxy, there's a video. Below me is a video. If you want to watch one of the other videos, please go ahead. We hope you enjoy them. And again, thanks for your time and take care.